leadership isn't about power or position. It's about how you show up when it matters most. And in the current disruptive world, these messy things can happen everywhere, anytime in your life. And that's where the real leadership is seen. And what I call these messy moments as are the unscripted moments. And how we as a person respond makes us the leader in those unscripted moments.
One of my employers took over a petroleum company in Nigeria. His top executives were kidnapped. Once he got the news, he flew because this petroleum company was bought from the government. He had negotiations with the government. Huge amount of money was spent.
How did that person show his leadership for his people when it mattered most? So in that moment, it didn't matter money to him. It didn't matter power to him. It didn't matter anything to him except for standing for his executives.
And when you are present, fully present, you have the full power. You will realize your power by being present. When you are fully present, you are doing your best.
Silence is more powerful than words.
Sometimes it is best not to express. Words are poor forms of communication.
What could be the best form of communication for leaders?
But there are times when they make me to make the decision. But when I make the decision, they trust the decision.
Hello everyone, good morning. I am Dr. Venkat Adivi. By profession, I am a strategic HR leader who brings nearly 20 years of experience in all aspects of HR. What I do is, my role is to help senior leadership teams clarify what great leadership looks like for their businesses, co-create frameworks and guide them to embed it into the daily leadership behaviors. Today we are talking with Anand. Anand has served the world's top 1% who are royalty, billionaires and influential leaders. He believes where presence, intuition and quiet influence define leadership. I, on the other hand, climbed up the corporate ladder, navigating systems, scaling people strategies and leading change from inside out. So we come from two different ends of spectrum, but both worlds converge on a powerful idea. Leadership isn't about power or position. It's about how you show up when it matters most. Tune into this podcast as I and Premm discuss more about these things in some time.
My name is Premm. Of course, I'm addressing this from Zurich in Switzerland. After spending about 3 decades serving people, starting from hotels, moving on to cruise ships, and then getting on to private service. 6 years, I started to take the skills and what has made me to come into this place, what life I'm living, to the world, to communicate this, how they can do themselves also. So after a brief, about 4-5 years, I've been training people, but then I realized there is more to offer. There is more that I can give and that can come about, and people can transform their lives by having certain understanding and certain meanings to what they are doing. And I thought it is important that I must convey this message, because understanding this has made lot of difference to my life. I would like all the others also to enjoy this. By them, it won't be just for them. They can make other people to relish the gifts of what this is. It's very simple, but we see often simple things are the ones which are so challenging to do. To get this going, I am developing a program called Serving with Soul. But this program is coming as an education. But meanwhile, in the next few weeks, in the next few months which is coming, I'm taking it directly to people who are in service industry like myself, and to see them that everybody can do this and everybody can make this possible for themselves. So this is where I am.
Super. Thank you, Premm. Thank you for that brief intro. And I see that you are empowering people and making them believe that they can do anything like many others and achieve progress in their life. So it's really so nice to have people like you come out and empower others and build a community of the leadership which is needed for the growing economy today, or the things the way the world is moving. We need more leaders in future, and people like you who's coming around and helping. You said educating them, but I say empowering them. So you're empowering them with making them realize what they can achieve is really wonderful. And maybe on the other side of the spectrum, I do the same thing. So I help senior leadership teams clarify what great leadership looks like, and especially for their businesses, and also co-create the frameworks as needed, and guide them to embed that into daily leadership behavior. So precisely, Prem, I think leadership is everywhere, and leadership isn't handed to anyone with a title. So it's not handed to anyone at all. So we shape it choice by choice, and leadership isn't what you do when everything is going around you so fine. So leadership is seen when things around you go really messy, and in the current disruptive world, these messy things can happen everywhere, anytime in your life, and that's where the real leadership is seen. And what I call these messy moments as are the unscripted moments. So because they don't come, they come uninvited, they come unannounced into your life, and how we as a person respond makes us the leader in those unscripted moments. So in those unscripted moments, what I have seen in 20 years of my life working with leaders at different levels is no framework will come handy. So because when you're put into a crisis, you don't keep thinking about a McKinsey 7S framework or something else. You just go ahead and start doing, getting things correct. So that those are the unscripted moments. So I would open this up and saying that no, you might also be in such moments you could have walked past in your life. But if you look again to those moments, frame, those are packed with some leadership lessons. So do you recollect any such moment which has come uninvited into your life, and how the leader in you has really worked on that, and what was the lesson for you on that?
Uh, Thank you, Venkat. Before we go, I will just identify myself as I'm not thinking that I'm empowering people, but I am sharing what I have. But if it ends up in empowering them, I'm really pleased about it. Yes, you're absolutely right. Most of the character you can only know through these unscripted moments.
Yes.
That's the time when the character comes up. So there are, for example, the work environment which I used to be in the past is full of unscripted moments. When you are looking after a certain family, you got huge amounts of unscripted moments possibility to happen, because we are not operating in a very corporate styled environment.
Yes.
It's a family. It is you have 20 staff whom you have to run. You have the weather conditions, you have to maintain gardens, estates, and vehicles on the estates. Animals, horses might get sick. Animals are there, and so on. So ours is full of a lot of unscripted moments. But what I learned from my leaders whom I work for, let us take the persons whom I used to work for. They are leaders who had thousands of people working for them, and huge amounts of companies which they were looking after. What I have time and time and time seen again and again is they don't get bogged down by these unscripted moments.
Yeah.
Rather, they immediately take action, and they follow through that action, and see that the lessons has been learned, and something has been put in place. So I mean, I can give you one example. One of my employers took over a petroleum company in Nigeria. Just within a year or a year and a half, as he took over, his top executives were kidnapped. And once he got the news, he flew, because this petroleum company was bought from the government. He had negotiations with the government. Then he had to do whatever he had to do. He got the staff freed. Then huge amount of money was spent on security, on regulations put in place, on to see it doesn't happen again. So like this, there are thousands and millions of incidences in their lives, in all our lives. The first thing is, it doesn't put them down. It doesn't bog them down. They are prepared for it. Anything which comes up, they are prepared for it. As soon as they are prepared for it, one of the most important things also I observed is, because they are cool headed, because they don't get stressed out, they are able to make decisions clearly.
Right. I see for any leader, Prem, nothing like this can be any more pleasurable than moment like this. So you getting your topic cake is lifted up by somebody, and yeah, like that moment, it's really great that that person never thought about the money that is getting in. He never felt the pressure, staying calm and making the quick decisions to do whatever it can to protect his people. So that's one of,
Yes.
that's truly an unscripted moment which you not even in your dream you would even ever imagine that your executives will get kidnapped and this is how I'm going to respond. So there's nothing prepared. So you just act on it. That is where this podcast comes in frame. So we both come from two different ends of spectrum, and both worlds converge into this powerful idea. So leadership isn't about power or position. So it's about how you show up when it matters most. So right, you the example that you rightly quoted, how did that person show his leadership for his people when it mattered most? So in that moment, it didn't matter money to him, it didn't matter power to him, it didn't matter anything to him except for standing for his executives who are abducted by someone. So that's really an unscripted moment.
And when you express your leadership like this, again, what happens is, of course, those two executives have been released, but the thousands of employees who are working in your organization, they they have the confidence, they have the power, they see that they are being cared for. So there are lot of after effects which are comes into this. So one of the most important things for the leaders is also the second order thinking. So what happens is, when they do an action, what falls behind this action, and what consequences of those actions has on the actions what they are taking today. So they have the capacity to see through this.
So what I see, Anand, in this case, on the other side, from if I see it from the other side, is that it's not the strategy, it's not the power that this person has used. I think he has relied most on his presence at that moment. So exactly to show that presence. So exactly. So that leads me to an extended thought, Prem, is that no, do you think that presence alone can change how others respond to your actions? Like you said, there are after effects of an action that this person or people at that stage should take, see how there is a ripple effect to it. So do you think someone who is practicing being so present in a situation, whether it is crisis or any other situation, to demonstrate their leadership skill, to gain trust with their teams, or do anything that is related to that? Do you think presence as an trait in the leader can alone change how others respond to you?
The first and foremost is, you have control over what you are doing. And when you are present, fully present, you have the full power. You will realize your power by being present. Number one. And number two is, when you are fully present, you are doing your best. When you do your best, almost every time, you will get what you want.
The results will.
The result. So our action should never be looking at how to get other people in line. Our action should be how best what we are giving, and that will eventually, see, other people looking, watching, getting results, behaving is a consequence.
Okay. Or
Yeah,
rather,
yeah,
no, say it's
yeah.
an outcome of how
We
it's
must,
an outcome of what you do.
yes, yes, we must have a clarity that we There are things which we don't have a control. We don't think about it. We don't worry about it.
Yeah.
The problem in life is we are almost all the time we are worrying about those things, and that hinders how we go about the business.
Oh, okay. So, sorry, you said what hinders the business when we think about what should be the outcome. So, it's, if someone is outcome driven, rather giving their best with their presence in that situation, if someone is thinking about what could be the outcome, that could hinder the business or progress. Is what you mean?
I'll just give you a simple example. Don't think about scoring the goal in the basket. That is the outcome.
Yes.
Think about how best you can shoot in the basket that it goes in the basket, because that is within
Yes.
you. Scoring is consequence.
Yes. Yes. So the more you practice the inner skill in you on how to put it in the basket, the score will automatically raise every time that you shoot the ball into it. Oh, that's really a great the way to see it.
So I want to score a goal. No, I want this ball to go through that basket, and this is the amount of pressure, this is the angle, this is how I'm going to shoot it, and it is going to go through the basket.
Wow.
So you reframe how your
Think how you thought. If I'm doing it to doing it to or throwing the ball to score the goal, then probably my focus might shift and I might lose my focus or like you said, how much of pressure I should use to make the ball go and sit in the basket. Rather, I have to practice the skill inside me to not to score, not focused on score, but making sure that ball goes into the basket every single time I shoot it.
I will do whatever it
Takes
for this ball to go into that basket. For this ball to go into the basket from the angle where I am, what is the pressure I'm going to use? So when you think about scoring the ball, you shifted your focus there.
Yeah.
You lost the focus of what is needed to score the ball.
Correct. That is where you being present in that moment on what you wanted, what shape is like really.
So if you are thinking about bringing the result and impressing people or getting it on the paper, you are spending your energy on the consequence. Why don't you become a creator?
Creator of that consequence, a creator of that outcome,
Exactly.
not the outcome itself.
Yes.
Right. Prem, I learned that you worked with world's top 1%, who are from royal families. Like you said, you managed families. It's not just their business. So it's about taking care of their home, taking care of the gardens, the pets that they love, everything. And you work with billionaires and most influential people. Influential people. So this is where makes me interesting to know how do these wise leaders stay grounded around powerful people, or how did you stay grounded around being around with these powerful people?
Yeah. Again, it comes to the same thing. I always only think about what I'm giving to the best of the. This is my job. I am put there to do it at the top potential, top form of what I can, optimum result, what I can give. So when I am thinking about this, I have nothing else to think about. I don't think about this is a prime minister who won with this election, or this is a man who owns 500 crores, or he is one of the billionaires in the world, or she has got fans. It is good information to know. I have the respect for their achievements, accomplishments. For now, when I am present here, my immediate focus is only to do my job well.
Yes.
One thing only your mind can be focusing on. We must know all this.
Getting the
If
job
we,
done
if
well.
we have our mind focusing on 2 3 things, none of the 2 3 things will work.
So
So if I am thinking about how important they are, how can I do my work properly?
but Prem, when I see it from their lens, so you are their team. So what I want to say is how what do you see in them where they got their team binded together, or they managed, or I would say how they empowered their people to understand their world around them, so that their team can do their job best. So they flourish and you flourish as part of their team. So have you seen any instances, or have you experienced any such instances where the strategies that fail when something is passed down the team from the top? Yes. You work with people who manage thousands of people, larger properties, billions worth of money. There's power involved. The people who are influenced in several direction, in several aspects. So for them to do their job best, like you said, so they need to be more. They need their team to be as equally effective, so that it feeds into their daily routine. Are there any such instances where you've been part of that challenge, or you have seen that becoming challenge for them, or the leaders, where the strategies didn't land well when it is passed down to their teams?
So they have trusted people around them to run their businesses, and among that circle, if things get a little disturbed, then they handle it. But usually, most of the businesses, most of the things are done by the people who are managing that part of the activity. It could be CEOs of companies, it could be managers of the. In my case, it was I was managing their lifestyle and their properties.
Yes.
So if you take it in my case, then down as you said, it's down the staff. Then I am responsible to handle it. They will not even bother about it. If I am trustworthy for them, I make a decision, they will go ahead with it because they don't have time and energy, and they will not doubt me because they have provided me the place because I have passed through certain levels and I'm there.
Yeah.
So they have allowed the intimacy, they have allowed you in that circle. They have entrusted you in running the property, in running their wealth, in running not in the wealth in the sense in the display of the assets. That wealth and all is quite huge, but just the assets which
So
they
the reflection of their lifestyle in
yeah lifestyle yeah. So when I am there and something goes down, not okay, then it's my responsibility. So I need to handle them. I need to sort it out. I need to take it. So this is they won't even bother. They won't even bother to know. If I bring somebody, then they will rely upon. Of course, there are levels. There are times when they want to also see them to have a feel, to have a feel. But there are times when they make me to make the decision. But when I make the decision, they trust the decision.
right. So
It is how their businesses also operate. This is how we operate also.
so leadership. Can I summarize saying that one of the greatest leadership traits is to build that autonomous environment around you, and trust the decisions made by your team, and not to interfere unless it is really needed, and trust the decision made by my staff who I trust so well, and go with and go with the flow, and when crisis comes, then you know how to handle it, and you are well know how to get along with such situations. So are there I know in such pressurized moments there can be some instances or situations where things get really messy, noisy around you. What I've seen in my environment is that sometimes, while leadership is all about communicating clearly every time, or anticipating the challenge, what's coming up, especially in the disruptive world today with technologies taking over many things. Or time and again, what I've seen is sometimes silence is more powerful than words. So, in your world, have you ever seen that silence sometimes has become a form of leadership within the people that you work, especially when people are surrounded with such an influential people who has power, authority, and everything. Although we say leadership is not about power, but it influences. So, have you seen some any of those unscripted moments where silence sometimes has become a form of leadership? So, despite of the noise around me, although I'm expected to communicate clearly with everybody, to keep things out of mess, rather doing communicating so much. If I played silent, being silent, has any such instances become a powerful leadership, a form of leadership, the silence?
Yes,
Sometimes like people say silence speaks more than louder than words. So
it is indeed. It is indeed. It is indeed. There are times when, in fact, in these sort of households or even in corporates, sometimes it is best not to express, and sometimes it is okay to be in a level which is just apt. So, when it is not to express, often it happens in such situations. Especially, one thing which we have to understand is words are poor forms of communication.
that's really nice. I heard it today morning. I think I heard something really new. Words are. Can you say that again, sir? Words are
Words are poor forms of communication.
core forms of communication. Okay, so they're not.
You
They're
can
not
never
the ones.
express what you feel through words. You can try your best. Anybody, any language.
So if you say when words are the poor form of communication, so what could be the best form of communication for leaders? Because communicating clearly is one that comes up again and again, over and over. Whenever you read a leadership book or hear a podcast or go through an boardroom experience, communication is always at the forefront for leaders. So when you say the words are the least effective form of communication, what could leaders now think beyond words
What you just now said, is it also saying communication is the best part of something, but the best method to do it is words? Does it say that?
not explicitly?
Exactly, exactly, exactly. So if you see the higher forms of relationships between a man and a woman, between a god and a person, the highest forms of relationships is not through words.
Agree. I see where you're coming from.
So you want to be in certain person's company because they make you feel good, not they keep on talking to you good. They make you
Right.
feel good,
Right.
right?
Yes.
So your communication must address that feelings to be channeled towards your goal. That would be the most effective way of communicating to your staff. Why is the number one requirement in any corporate is culture building?
Culture, yes.
Culture is what? It is a feeling towards one's particular goal. And in certain methodology, in certain values, following certain values to reach certain goal is what is culture is about.
Yeah. Doing the right thing again and again, making it an habit in the organization eventually becomes the culture of the company.
At the end of the day, your people should feel to deliver into that culture, right?
So, Prem, what I see the assimilation of this is now the communication need not be words always. So the powerful communication that a leader can bring to any unscripted moment is the number one is presence. So you be present in the situation, even if you don't say anything, give that feeling that you are with the people and you stand as an you back them in the tough situations. That itself is communicating powerfully that your presence is with them, and there is culture around how people know in that organization how that culture is empowering to do the right things, make the right choices, right decisions. But the leader doesn't have to come and speak great words to motivate or empower his or their team. It's just that you be present in that situation, even if you sit silent. But if you are present in that situation and show that you have their back, the people back of the people that you trust or back of the people that people trust you, that itself is a great communication that settles the dust slowly.
No, even when you're talking, you should allow that moment to reflect.
So give
So
that
the leader comes, he talks, then he allows the moment to reflect, then people reflect. Then what he is doing is when they reflect, they are channelizing their feelings towards his words, towards his thoughts. So when they channelize towards his thoughts, so what he is making is through the medium of talking, through the medium of words, but even the words and the talking is powerless even if it doesn't originate within you.
yes.
So what is coming out through words or through that is transmission of energy is happening. This transmission of energy is instigating the other energy to follow through, which is what is happening around in any non-physical communication. For example, what is digital technology? What is mobile phone? What is these are all transmission of energy,
Yeah.
right? But today I ring a phone, I put the numbers, it channelizes that energy into your own your lane, which is going to reach you. It's transmitting this here to reach you. So what's happening is through the word, which is now here pushing the button. If you are successfully able to steer the feelings of people, the top leaders, all this Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, they were all, their words did not make people to move.
Right.
Words made their feelings to move, and the feelings moved actions. Feelings brought in actions, and the actions got the results.
Right. So, Prem, if I see this scenario into in a boardroom, what I see is, or what I'm learning from you today is that, as a reader, I don't have to start speaking when I enter into a boardroom. There's a- So rather, what I could do is, for the first few minutes, I could stay silent to hear what others are saying, so that would channelize my thoughts. And then when that energy is transmitted around the room, that's where, like you said, the energy transmits and then brings that cohesion to. I think that is one form or one way of making people innovate on their own terms, and then bring consensus around the situation or the crisis that the team is undergoing. So the leader doesn't have to start the conversation by themselves. So they can sit quiet and let other people speak first, and then channelize the energy around them to get what the outcome that they're anticipating to drive. Is it what I?
Venkat, there is no right or wrong way to. I think he can talk, but the most important thing is while he's talking, he should talk to the emotions. He should talk to the emotions. He should provoke the emotions. He should make them to feel. He should connect to their feelings. That's the thing which has to happen in talking.
Right. So emotional intelligence is again another great trait that people want to see in their leaders. No, but despite of having outweighed my emotional intelligence with my teams, we still see some people quietly resist. Even there is an agreement to what the others are saying. So have how what's your take on that frame? So have you been in such unscripted moment where you know that the point, you know that you need to agree to that point, but you still quietly resist on that agreement with someone, because that's where most of the times we see in boardrooms that difference of opinions comes from leaders of different statures, and how as a CEO, or how as a chair of that meeting, the chair of that meeting would know how to handle that resistance. But why do you think, even when we put that effort in talking with emotion, driving that emotional factor into our communication, there is a quiet resistance even to the agreement? So
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. See, you can't get everybody to accept on any and have consensus of everybody. So one thing is I won't say that it as an unscripted, because you as a CEO they will expect this will happen.
yes.
Only thing how you have to make a decision on that matter is, if that matter is in the interest of your culture, is in the interest of the company, and people are resisting and there is not enough validity in the resisting, then they will not fit into the culture. So they displayed that they won't fit here by not
Resisting it.
able to give a reasonable situation or a reasoning to justify it. So it is possible that they are not fitting into your culture, and you must accept and you must either let them go or act upon it. That is number one. Number two is there will always be people like this. There will always be, because we are 8.5 billion people. 8.5 billion people are 8.5 billion combinations of uniqueness. And in this uniqueness and in these combinations, there will always be, there can't be 100% of anything, even the best of the interest,
Yes.
right? So it is what values they take. Is it in the interest of the company? Is it in the interest of the organization? Is it in the interest of your culture, which is very strong, which has been set up? That is all you might have to see. And even you buy in emotionally, even they felt emotionally he is right. There might be reasons, there might be psychs, there might be inability to see. But we can't help, we can't spend our time, we can't spend our energy, we can't keep on going about it. We must make a decision and we must move on.
Prem, you touched on something that I explored in my PhD as a subject is bringing that leadership and organizational culture synergy. And in the current environment where there is a lot of disruption around us, I strongly felt when I studied this that leadership and culture must work in sync. And you touched that point now that and the belief and the data that I have worked on what it conveyed is that organizations achieve sustainable success even in disruption only when leadership behaviors and organization culture are aligned toward the same goal right he said. So when in such board meetings when there is a recognition that people are not buying into the idea or in the best interest of organization or in best interest of the culture, that's where the cultural gap is. I don't say it exists everywhere, but that's where those are the moments where you see the cultural gap exists, and it makes you aware that it is existing. And in the world where you
Not a cultural gap, it's a value gap.
oh, so yeah, that leads to the conversation that no, in your world, when leader sees that there is a value gap or the cultural gap, what are the best things that they have done to narrow it down?
They don't have to do anything. There is nothing to do about narrowing it down. We are not here to please some individuals who don't fit into the organization. So, you only, first of all, your organization can only flourish who believes that this is in sync with what they are, who they are, what they want to be, who they want to be, right? And if it doesn't, one very clear thing you have to realize is all this happens because of the psych. Psych is to do with your mind and your like pride, pomp, and all these sort of fear. All this is based on psych.
Yeah.
So whatever things are based on psych is not helpful for humanity. In highly evolved beings who is out there is no psych. That is why they flourish. There is no countries, there is no divisions, there is everything is union. When you are in union with the laws of humanity, which is in the welfare of the humanity, upliftment of the humanity, then that energy will take you through itself. You don't need any sort of pleasing people, having people who are in sync with you. All these things is not necessary. So if your company has a culture which is in the interest of people, which is in the interest of their clients, which is in the interest of delivering something which is to benefit other people, including their employees, that is all is needed. They don't have to each and every aspect and activity of it. They don't have to keep on going further and further and trying to please, trying to fit in, trying no. So they have a broader consensus. They have a broader ideology, which is we are here in the benefit of our people, in the benefit of other people, in our clients. Only when the money revenue comes in, business can strive,
So
right? So if these
I
people have their own inhibitions, own beliefs, then what is the point in trying to fit them here in?
Prem, so you touched on no having those such a great inhibitions and understanding being psychic and seeing everything as an union. But tell me how a leader would drive that in the organization when the organization is growing, when like you said, 8.5 billion people, 8.5 billion unique personalities. So when I'm bringing somebody new into the organization, a unique personality, have you seen a specific pattern or have you seen something that is done differently or effectively in embedding this new personality into the organization culture so seamlessly?
Yeah. So before they come in, the person would have known. I mean, in principle, onboarding process and of course interview process. Before interview process, they would have done a research on your company, and they would come there. But while they are doing all these things, going through your manuscripts and what is out there, they would have realized what sort of organization they are enrolling for. Yeah. So there is also, I mean, lot of companies are doing this. Sentimental analysis, cultural fit analysis, all these things would have happened before they are brought in.
True.
Right?
That goes as a process.
Yeah, as a process. So they are brought in having all this gone through. But often what happens is they would present themselves in a way that they get through the process, but when they are inside, you will figure out, you will find out that they are, what they have said and what they are doing is different.
Yes.
Right? Right or not?
Yes.
Okay. So so now it becomes so easy. We try our best. We try our best to, I mean, what I'm talking from the point is that your organization is in the genuine interest of people, genuine interest of
Your customers.
genuine interest of growth mindset.
Yes.
Yeah? So in this mindset, if you are not fitting in, if you keep on having to, we have to keep on having to fit you in, then it becomes a stress on the company. So what is to answer your question? You, sooner or later you find out they are not fit.
Right. So to summarize overall, our frame, so you're saying that culture is the invisible enabler of strategy. So which means that the culture is intentionally shaped and reinforced in the organization. So as the time grows, it becomes a strategic asset that accelerates the execution of your plans, your growth, or bringing the people together. Or in corporates, what we call employee engagement.
Rather than a strategy, it's a reflection of your values.
Okay.
Your strategy should align with culture.
Exactly. So without cultural alignment, even the best strategies fail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So can you throw some light on how this the top 1%, the royalties or the billionaires world practice this value system in their life, business, everywhere, and how these misfits are recognized and acted upon.
Right. So, first is we started the conversation with the value alignment, and when we started, we said about how they take action,
Yes.
what makes them to take action, and so on. So they how they are. They want, as you rightly also pointed out in one of your mentions, that they want people around them also to reflect them, which means
Yeah.
just take action, follow through, put things in place, which way you learnt lesson.
Yes.
Yes. So they also want to surround themselves with this sort of stuff. This is the culture they maintain throughout their organization, throughout their lives. Right. So they will keep people who are in alignment with these basic principles. This is basic.
Okay.
And then they look for people whom they keep closer. There is a quite a amount of trust which they only them they allow closer.
Yes.
In trust, how we look at it, for example, when I was a house manager, we have certain in the estate itself, there are certain areas people are allowed till here. There are certain areas these people only is allowed further.
Yes.
There are certain areas.
So like level of access or
Level of access, yes, yes, exactly. So the level of it is in corporate also. The level of access is being given based on the trust.
yes.
The trust itself, there are at least three kinds of trust. One is the core trust. Core trust is to do with your character, your intent, and the care.
Character, intent, care, like CIC.
These three are the bottom line of trust. These three are bottom line of trust. Okay. So if you or allowing somebody to be your intimate friend, basically, you know his intentions are not to use you, but to be on a mutual level. And
Yes.
you also will see how much you care, he cares for your welfare, for your well being.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you also will see he's a liar, honest, nice person, open hearted, growth mindset, opportunistic, whatever it is. That is the character.
Yes.
This is level 1 trust. Level 2 is the competency.
How well you can do things, how competent you are in this.
So when I am a house manager, when what I am looking at it is when I'm bringing you in, you are competent, but are you can only enter into the certain levels of me of the household operation or something when you come into the level, the foundation level. So it's top to bottom. It's not bottom to top. It's bottom top to bottom.
Top to bottom. Yeah.
Top is the basic which I said.
Yes. That is CIC, where it is character, intent, and
Yes. Next is the competency and consistency.
okay.
Are you consistently delivering your competency? There are some people are there. Super, they will do the dinners. Then when it comes to family dinner, they are like very people will be, they are not in to the speed. When it becomes an event, they are fully charged, full energy and like this. Yeah. So do you have the consistency? Do you have the same amount of energy every time? That's
Yes.
second level trust.
Yes, got it.
If I have to assign him for a very important dinner, I make my assessments based on all these things.
So will he demonstrate the same level of energy that he showed in a larger dinner event?
Yeah, and sometimes I will realize he's good for events. I will only use him for events. Then the third one is the sustainability, the long run. Are you able to deliver this on a very long run, future legacy creation? So if you have done all this, if you given a long run, then I might be interested even to get your children into my employment, or even your so these the if you are sustainable, if you have gone through for a long time, and the future legacy you created, then
You're creating legacy for yourself. You're creating legacy for yourself by being consistent. So by being so competent, consistent, exactly, and having that core value, core intent, and everything. So if I'm showing though that trust factors in me, so I am becoming a leader of demonstration of those trust factors, and not just I am becoming better, but I'm also creating a legacy for my
exactly.
family. So
Exactly. So these are the things which we look for when we allow you to come into the very closer vicinity of this VVIPs, and all these royalties and things like that. So to answer your question, this is how we look at it, and this is how they come into it. To misfit you answer, they won't be there for long. There are many people who will come and go. So if we, the most important thing for these people is that you have value. Competence is only second. That's why I said foundation is the top core.
the core CIC. Yeah.
Yeah. And the misfits who comes, we don't hesitate.
So the misfit can be competent, but probably they may not be consistent, or they may not be.
Depends where they are.
They may not be able to bring that sustainability.
Yeah. If they are an outside gardener is helping the gardener, we don't worry about it. No problem. He can still be there because he is competent. He can still be there. We are okay with it. You know, it depends on so many aspects. Like if you are inside, then you need to display these things. At least many of these things. If you are like outside, we are using contractors. We don't expect all these things. You are competent. You are delivering, and your honest. Your integrity is there. That's enough for us.
And their level of access is only up to a certain point. And okay. So I heard about your serving with soul concept print that you've been working on for the last 4 years, and making that into an education program for. I believe that you're empowering people with serving with soul. Can you explain us what is the serving with soul primarily mean in the world of leadership?
Right. As when we started, when I mentioned that I was very much involved in training people.
Yeah.
But when I was training, I felt that there is more to give, and more people can use, and more people can get, and more people can take this to the world to make the world connections, better connections, meaningful connections, and so on. So it didn't come to very recently, until very recently, to a place where this can be made into a program and given to people. It has been a value, it has been
Yeah.
a wisdom, it has been a thought, It has been sort of a realization, resonance. But now, in the last few months, I have converted that into modules and programs.
Wow.
So, the modules and programs, if companies can integrate into their system, it will make them to identify the people with these values. So, it will help their culture to grow with these values, and it will monitor, like they can see the real KPIs, they can see that there is a process how their HRs can take this through. And for this to happen, I'm converting this into a modular system. First starting as a LMS material, and then it's converted into an operating system.
Wow. Operating system. Yeah.
So yeah, so this is I'm in the process of this, and the course, as a course, it will be ready soon. But convert into operating system, it needs a bit of time. I'm also developing certain connections and to kind of networks to get this first MVP as a product to use. So this is the place where we are.
Right. Prem, I know you believed that no, or you are a, I don't say preacher, but you are a believer that no, one has to stay joyful to what they are working on, and money and other things will follow that joy. So in your world, when you worked with these great leaders, how do they stay joyful even in the real under pressure situations? Because no, you worked with billionaires who is running multi-billion company and goes through a lot of pressure in handling business, life, this lifestyle, everything that we spoke. How do these people stay joyful, and how do they stay real even under pressure?
I don't know if they stay joyful. I really don't know. But one thing what I know is, as I mentioned, they don't get put off so easily, so quickly. Because whatever happens, they have seen several times, several scales, several things. It's all gone through. Even if it didn't go through, they have the capacity and the mental maturity to handle things as it comes head on. So that puts them into a position where, as you rightly said, they are present to deal with the situation.
Yeah.
That is number one they have. Joyful was said in the context of services. When you want to serve somebody, if you can do it joyfully, it's easier for you to do, for them to feel you. That is the context which I said. These people are really the mental status is what I have seen working with so many people. See, while I was working in London, one of my other friends who used to work on Neckerman Islands belonged to Richard Branson.
Wow.
Yeah, it got fully burned down.
Ah,
It fully burned down. It's a private island. Even before the insurance came there to look at the damage, most of the rebuilding
already rebuilt. Yeah.
they have cleared up the place and they started to rebuild. It's not rebuild, but they cleared up the place, which means that is the speed they like to operate.
Yeah. Speed. Yeah.
That is the speed they operate. And yes, it has happened. He will find out the reason why later, what has happened later, but get it going. That's I time and time I have seen this. Get it going when it is fixed. And
I would its response. It is being responding to the situation than waiting for looking into the reasons and then find a way through. It's just something happened. So you just respond immediately, get things going, and then look into the data, look into the reasons later and see, take precautions so it doesn't repeat again in a same situation like that. So that's wonderful. Prem, as we're coming closer to the end, I read and I've seen, what I've read and seen is that they say that leadership is the highest form of service, and we are talking here about serving with soul. How does these two relate in the world of leadership? How leadership is becoming an highest form of service, and if the leader is the highest form of the service provider, so how could somebody serve with soul? And can you give us any example on if this has really worked in real time, serving with soul, which has really brought in difference in others or difference in the leader himself?
okay, I will tell you my personal example. In 2006, I came to London.
Mm.
from India to live forever. I mean, I moved from
India to London.
So in UK, when I came, I wanted to get into private service,
Yes.
serving this high net worth people, private. But because it's a new country, because I've just come, because it's a very trustworthy position, I was not able to get into anywhere. I registered with, I've been interviewed, and so I was even willing to prepare to take the lowest position possible in private service to move up. But there was no breakthrough coming. After 2 years, I got a call from, I've been doing some temporary work, waiting jobs and things like this. I get a call, and this call was from somebody whom I served 5 years ago.
Wow.
Right? They asked me to come to their office. I went to the office and I was offered to look after their property in Buckinghamshire, 300-acre estate. What they're offering is beyond my imagination, because I've been looking to just to get into I just want a door to open to get into starter position.
But it's
They-
turning out to be a big
position. Okay. So you wish for something, then you get so big. Now you don't know if you're really in a position to even enjoy that, even to avail that, right? So now while I'm going by train, I didn't give him the answer. I'm going by train. I'm thinking these responsibilities, whatever I have to do. It's quite for me. It came under my in my tummy. It created a bit of a fear in me.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
though the aspiration has come true, but then later on, that became my first employment into private service, and it was very successful, and that set me up into a very higher level. But why I am saying this to you is the person who called me after 5 years, we never had contact in 5 years. 5 years ago, I served him on the ship few times
Okay.
on the cruise ship. Before this, I was in cruise ship. I served him on the cruise ship for a few times. Apparently, when I reached London, there was a Mercedes limo waiting to pick me up. And this was from another guest whom I looked after 4 years ago on another cruise ship. So,
Relations are coming into play now.
so now this man is saying, Prem, until you find your own place, you can live here. He gave me one of the outhouses in the most expensive areas in the world. It's called Virginia Water in UK, right? So I stayed in a cottage, private cottage with my then wife.
Family. Yeah.
So to answer your question, these people at that time when I looked after them, they paid me tips.
Yes.
My company gave me salary. We finished the deal. We are done, right?
Yeah.
But why did they come back after 4 years when they know I'm coming into to live in London? Everybody now is looking to want to meet me, want to invite me. We go out for a dinner. At least I went out for dinner with 5 or 6 other clients also, right?
Yes.
So why do they do this?
I see they see value in your service when you serve them, and there is some trait that you have demonstrated that has hooked them to your.
Exactly. This is called touching the soul. How many times when you have gone somewhere or did something or been somewhere for a brief time, somebody what they have done has really made a mark on you that next time when you went, you remembered their name or their face.
Yes.
Why did that? Why does this happen?
Yeah, like you said,
You have left an impression on you, on your memory. They've left an impression, right? So this is what is that everybody is capable of doing it.
Yes, I'm thinking loud now. How can this reflect in a corporate world? How that's where I think why this now I realize why this leadership is highest form of service. So you have no matter which kind of environment you are in as a leader, you always ensure that you are serving your team with soul. So you reach their souls. You touch them in different ways possible and beyond their mind. And
One of the things is you should never attempt to do it. You should never try to do it.
so so it should happen by nature.
Yes.
But Prem, do you think that we should develop that skill to do it naturally. So for that we need some awareness, and then we have to align our own values into that, and then do some action related to that. So it becomes natural for anyone to touch others' soul in serving as a leader.
Very good question. I will now tie the loop. This interview is coming to an end. In between, we talked about the trust. The
Yes.
first foundation layer I told you about the trust. In that, I gave you three values.
Yes.
Do you remember?
You said the core values, which is one, the trust, which is at core, which is with intent, and which is
Intent,
character, intent, and yeah.
yeah. Now, take those three things, come back here. If you have the intention to heartfully, sincerely serve somebody
Yes.
and you kept on doing it, that becomes your character.
Character. Yes.
When it becomes your character, they can see that you care for them. When they see you care for them, you make an impression on the soul. That's it.
So the core of being showing your character with right intent will create that caring for others, and that is the heart of serving with soul.
You must have an intention, and consistently, when you deliver this intention, it becomes your character.
Character.
When it becomes your character, the reflection of their character is for them to see that you care.
Yes.
Once they see you care, then it becomes a soul to soul connection.
Right. And to make this happen, you need to be consistent, and you need to be competent.
Thus, you need to have that intention.
Just the intention. So you don't have to be competent, or you don't have to be consistent in doing that. No, I believe we should become competent and consistent in having that intent clear right from beginning till the end. So that it becomes your character. So when you said there are three levels of trust levels. The first one we talked
No,
about.
we are not going back to trust now. I just connected it.
So the first level of
Why they would do, why these people are doing it for people, or why even after many years, if you go, you will look for that other person, is because he has displayed that he cares by through his intention and through his
right.
no, for momentary times you cannot say it as a character, because character is built over time, which means if you consistently deliver, it becomes a character. Because when you go to some place, you look at it, that action only is visible to you. You won't see the character. That means action is an expression in a moment from the character. That moment, momentary. So, but that is also good enough.
Yes.
And that will become, because you see that person is caring for you, then you will remember to look for him next time when you go into that place, into that restaurant, into anyone. That is the reason why mothers are so much meaningful for people in their lives, because they are epitome of caring,
Right.
love and care unconditionally. Mothers usually are. So that is the reason they became a soulful connection for many people in their lives.
Very well said, sir. Very well said. On this positive note, I thank you for sharing your thoughts on different forms of leadership, or how leadership can be ingrained or practiced in real time, whether they are in scripted moments or unscripted moments, and how the great leaders would do this time and again. So there's, I believe there is a lot of insight for our viewers on this podcast, and that Prem, I really thank you for your time today, for sharing your thoughts. Yeah, we'll keep doing this more often to synergize our thoughts on from coming from two different worlds, and how the best leadership form can be evolved out of this.
Thank you, Venkat. And just for out of my curiosity, you did PhD, you did your doctorate. And what is the subject you did?
I studied something. What I say is how this leadership and culture synergy helps companies, sustain, grow, and become. Yeah. So especially in the disruptive world today, frame where things are completely out of, they're moving so fast, and every time there is something that is coming and changing. what we have done yesterday. So I believe for any leader to drive that organization forward, so he has to be in sync with the organization culture. So that there cannot be any gaps. And and when we talk about organization culture, what I believe is it's not always on the top. The culture is set at the top, but it is built at the bottom, or it is built bottom up. So when I'm like I said, the communication is key in is what the leadership world believes and does. When the communication goes down, that's where I was inquiring about now how when I'm at the top, telling my employees what the direction in which we are going, and if they are not in alignment with what the company is planning to do, that's where the gap. So the disruption need not come from outside, the disruption is within now. So how a leader ensures that the culture, organizational culture, which is built over so many years, because I might have stepped into this company recently, but the company might be 100-year old. So the culture is being built for over a century. So how am I as an individual align myself into this organization culture without losing my power of transformation that I can bring as a competence to the organization? So when these two are married together in synchronization, what organizations can achieve is unbelievable. So that is where the sustainable success. So how a leader could drive this is something that I studied, and it gave me a really mind breaking outcomes frame where it improved how the improvement in alignment between readings and culture, how that model, how that behavior can model and reinforce the desired cultural values. So when we talk about value system, how as a leader I can leave that value system and show that as an example for my organization. So everybody in the organization lives that value system. That is the direct fuel of speed and decision quality. So you touched this at the right very beginning that no the top leaders, the great leaders would let their people make decisions. It's an autonomous environment where the decisions are not questioned. So believe that that's where the trust is coming in. So that's exactly what one of the outcomes that I've seen in my study as well. But our conversation today has reinforced it more stronger, and it makes it more relevant now that now it is important for all organizations of any in any field, whether it is in the service field that you are in household, or whether it's in the real corporate environment. The first job that leader has to do is to bring that alignment between his leadership style and the organizational culture.
And what do you do in this this with this realization? Do you take this to the organizations, or do you do sort of a consulting, or how do you employ your learnings into now the current scenario?
Prem, what I did is I have chosen a pathway. So what among the in that pathway, what I first did is that I have authored a book.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's the proof your book.
I authored a book named Unscripted Leadership.
Wow.
The big why I named unscripted leadership is right. The being like I said, the leadership is in the real moments, not in the ones that we already know. Yep. But they come together at some point. But the real leadership is demonstrated. Or real leadership is seen in an unscripted moment. So
Mhm.
how what are those unscripted moments in my leadership journey is what I gave in the book. That's where so I believe the best of the best frameworks may not help you in an unscripted moment.
Yeah.
So I purposefully kept myself away from giving another framework to the world, but I gave the stories for them to reflect on. So you will see such moments in my book where you might have passed those moments in your own real life frame. But when you look back, you reflect on those moments that now you have demonstrated your leadership skill. That's my first attempt. Now, now with that experience of now bringing all my experience together at one place into a writing in a book, that has paved way to the next set of things where I'm work like you creating an framework or a model to educate people or empower people. I'm also working on a similar model, which is called unscripted pathway or unscripted leadership path. So this pathway is, coming out well. I'm taking this to corporates, like you said, not just corporates, to anybody. So there could be an ambitious person who is trying to get into leadership role or get into work. So he how can that person travel on this unscripted leadership pathway and become an effective leader in future for a, whether it is corporate world or non-profit world or a service world like yours. That's the pathway that I'm working on. So it is in the final stages. So I am like I said, I'm not inclined or not just working on giving another framework for the world, but the real moments in which they can discover the leader in themselves and be effective in every unscripted moment that life will challenge you in real time. So leadership, like I said, the leadership is what we see in books, we hear in podcasts, we also see in boardrooms. But the real leadership happens in the real time. Yeah. When you don't expect something to come around your way, and how do you stand up in that unscripted moment? And how do you bring all your value system, like you said, the CIC, the character, intent, and care? And then how do you play around with your competencies to not you just navigate through the situation, but how do you take the entire team along with you through that crisis is the unscripted pathway talks about. It's built around the real leadership or real life moments, not on the frameworks.
Fantastic. I wish you all the best with that work.
Thank you, Prema, and I wish you the same with the Leading with Soul initiative. And I see somewhere both our thoughts would converge, and I will keep doing this more often.
Thank you. Thank you, Venkat.
Thank you, Prem. Have a good day. Enjoy the last days of summer in Zurich.
Yeah. Yeah.